Hello, hello. A pleasant morning, everybody. Most especially to our dear teacher, Dr. Daryl Falcon. So, how are you, everyone? I hope that you're all doing fine. You're all in a good, sound mind and body. So, first, let me introduce myself. My name is Nino Daniel Serrada, and I am one of the reporters of Group 4. Today, our task is to report about the communication for academic purposes. This is the last topic of our course, Purposive Communication, or English 101. Before I proceed in introducing our reporters of the day, may I remind you all to may I remind you for our netiquettes, and these are: number one is to pay attention, listen attentively, participate, and lastly, respect. Okay, so at this point in time, I will now introduce you our facilitators of learning. So, can you please proceed to the next slide? All right, so for the first topic of this module, which is the basic of writing academic research and documented essay in the 21st century, this will be introduced to you by number one, the ever dashing Miss Zerina Rose Ruiz. And of course, we also have the person who is adventurous and loves outdoorsy, Miss Juvel Sabanal. And now, the mesmerizing Dara Sanchez, and of course, the fierce but lovely Miss Ronali Santiago. So there they are, guys. They are our first batch of reporters. So for the second topic, which is the critical writing collaboration and the writing process, this will be delivered to you by the super cute and lovely Miss Franz Nicole Sasotel. Then the sweet and daring Miss Reza May Sincol. And of course, hindi pa huhuli, the lady in a red floral dress, Miss Alma Sulia. All right, so they are the second batch of reporters. And for the next topic, which is the concepts of social and cultural significance, it will be catered to you by yours truly. My name is Nino Daniel Serrada. Let's listen to the tantalizing voice of Miss Keisha Taban. And of course, the beautiful and eloquent Miss May Trasmil. So there they are for our third topic. So we will proceed to the reporters of the last topic, which is the writing about concepts. The lady beneath the sky, Miss Nina Tindag. Then the ever gorgeous Mr. Tolentino Veloso. And let's get ready to be mesmerized by Miss Rachel Yares. There they are, our today's reporters. Let's give them a round of applause. And now, without further ado, let us proceed with the reporting. May I call in the reporters of our first topic, which is the basic of writing academic research and documented essay in the 21st century. So let's keep the ball rolling. So the floor is now yours.
Good morning, everyone. I am the first reporter for the Group 4. So, what is communication for academic purposes? Academic communication involves presenting ideas effectively and firmly in scholastic environment. If you attend an institution of higher education, you can use these skills to contribute to the academic conversation with your teachers and peers. And it is also called scholarly communication, and it refers to methods of communication that are highly structured and generally only used in pedagogical settings. One thing common among this definition is that academic communication we use in scholastic context or pedagogical context in short in school. So, what is academic writing? Academic writing is a formal style of writing used in universities and scholarly publications. You'll encounter it in in journal articles and books on academic topics, and you'll be expected to write your essays, research papers, and dissertation in academic style. So, there are four types of academic writing: the descriptive, analytical, persuasive, and critical writing. So, the descriptive writing is the simplest type of academic writing. Its purpose is to provide facts or information. And an example for descriptive writing would be a summary of an article or a report of the result of an experiment. For the analytical writing, it is it is often called for university level. It shows the thought of process you would went through to arrive at a given conclusion and discusses the implications of this. Analytical writing includes descriptive writing, but it also requires us to reorganize the facts and information we describe into categories, groups, parts, types, or relationships. To make your writing more analytical, we need to spend plenty of time planning, brainstorm the facts and ideas, and try different ways of grouping them according to patterns, parts, similarities, and differences. Create a name for relationships and categories you find. Build each section and paragraph around one of the analytical categories and make the structure of your paper clear to your reader by using topic sentences and a clear introduction. And for the persuasive writing, it has the features of analytical writing, that is reorganizing information. In persuasive writing, each claim you make needs to be supported by some evidence. For example, a reference to research findings or published sources. Most of the essays are persuasive, and there is persuasive element in at least the discussion and conclusion of a research article. So to help us on reaching our point of view on the facts or ideas, we need to read some other researchers' points of view on the topic. Look for patterns in the data or references, list several different interpretations, and discuss the facts and ideas with someone else. And to develop your argument, you list the different reasons for your point of view. Think about the different types and sources of evidence which you can use to support your point of view. Consider different ways to provide, I'm sorry, list the different reasons for your point of view. Think about the different types of resources and evidence which you can use to support your point of view. Consider different ways that your point of view is similar to and different from the points of view of other researchers. Look various ways to break your point of view into parts. For example, cost effectiveness, environmental sustainability, scope of real world application. So to present your argument, make sure your your text develops a coherent argument where all individual claims work together to support your overall point of view, and your reasoning for each claim is clear to the reader. Your assumptions are valid, you have evidence for every claim you make, and you use evidence that is convincing and directly relevant. So the last academic writing is the critical writing. It is common in research, postgraduate, and advanced undergraduate writing. It also has the feature of persuasive writing with the added feature of at least one other point of view. While persuasive writing requires us to have our own point of view on an issue or a topic, a critical writing requires us to consider at least two points of view, including our own. So in critical writing, you need to first accurately summarize all the parts of the work. This could include identifying the main interpretations, assumptions, or methodology. Have an opinion about the work. Appropriate types of opinion could include pointing out some problems with it, proposing an alternative approach that would be better, and or defending the work against the critics of others. And lastly, provide evidence for your point of view. Depending on the specific assignment of the discipline, different types of evidence may be appropriate, such as logical reasoning, reference to authoritative resources, and or research data. So how to write for academic purposes? First, the correct word choice. Second, use of the passive voice. Third, use of scientific style. Fourth, use of reference, and lastly, use of quotations, paraphrase, and summaries. So that's the end of my reporting. Next reporter is Javel Sabanal. Thank you.
Yes, good morning everyone. My assigned topic is academic paper. An academic paper is not a social commentary, an opinion, or a blog. Academic paper begins with a thesis. The writer of the academic paper aims to persuade readers of an idea or solution to a problem based on evidence, not personal opinion. It should present the reader with informed argument. When we talk about academic writing, we will start with asking ourselves a question: what topic to choose and why. Conceptualize, next is conceptualize the problem. What do we know about the topic? What do we need to find out? And notice any areas of disagreement. Next is finding the solution. What do you think are important facts of the matter? And last is making or arguing your own stand. You will be making new insights you can contribute. As an umbrella term, it may include academic assignments, allows you to demonstrate your ability to understand, apply, and analyze information, case skills required to be successful at a research-intensive university. Under this are case study analysis, financial analysis, reports, and analysis. Next is the solution based on evidence. It is a factual information that helps the reader reach a conclusion and form an opinion about something. Evidence is a given in research work or is quoted in an essay and thesis statement but is paraphrased by the writer. Next is present informed argument. To create an informed argument, you must first recognize that your writing should be analytical rather than personal. Next is sort out what you know from what you feel. Again, it should not be personal. Last is different from professional writing. Why? Because academic writing is done mostly to showcase your research and expertise in a specific area or topic of interest, while professional writing is often done to influence or convince someone of something. Next slide, please. Here are the 11 steps in arriving at an academic paper. Select a topic. Next is formulated a working thesis statement. Prepare preliminary question. When we say preliminary question, it is the 5W, the what, where, when, who, why, and the H, the how questions. Find cross-section sources. Surveys and government records are some common sources of cross-sectional data. The data sets record observation of multiple variables at a particular point of time. Next is create a timeline. Next, design a system to organize and take notes. Outline your paper. Develop your thesis statement. Revise, edit, and check documentation. Documenting your sources provides essential information for your reader. By citing sources, you show indebtedness to the work of others and give your reader the chance to seek further information from the source themselves. Next slide, please. And here are the example. The topic is relevance of wearing school uniforms among USTP students. Thesis statement: wearing school uniform among education USTP student promotes unity and loyalty toward one another. And the preliminary question: what do you design and other color school uniform among education USTP students reflects? Second, besides unity and loyalty matters, why is the wearing of school uniform among education USTP students relevant? how does wearing of school uniform among education USTP students promote unity and loyalty among the students themselves? These are the questions you need to answer in your academic writing. Next slide, please. And the references and the citation. References must include list of all sources you use in your paper. Support your paper should be latest edition, and the citation includes to be properly addressed to the author of selected references and the APA format citation. APA format is the official style used by American Psychological Association, or APA. An APA in the text citation consists of authors, last name, and the year of publication. And if you're citing a specific part of a source, you should also include allocators such as page number or timestamp. Question: why is referencing and citation important in academic writing? Well, referencing allows you to acknowledge the contribution of other writers and researchers in your work. Referencing is also a way to give credit to the writers from whom you have borrowed words and ideas. And the act of citing resources is also your best defense against allegation of plagiarism. Citing the work of others is important because proper citations allows readers to locate the material you use. Citation to sources helps reader expand their knowledge on the topic and would be able for expand their knowledge of the topic. And that would be all for my assigned topic. I will give you to the next reporter, Miss Sandara. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. And as for the continuation of the report, I'm going to tackle about the citations of the author, books, website, and newspaper, and how to use the format. So in the author citation, we start from the one author. So upon using the one author format, we start from the family name, we put comma, the first initial of the author, and period, the middle initial, and the open parenthesis year of the published, and close parenthesis period. For the two authors, we use the family name, comma, first initial, period, and the middle initial, and we use the ampersand to connect the two authors, and the second family name of the author. Gas, comma, first initial, period, second initial, and open parenthesis, year published 2005, close parenthesis, period. And when it comes to 3 to 5 authors, we use the first citation by using the first author last name followed by the abbreviation, which is et al. Like for example, the first citation, Cortez, comma, first initial A, period, middle initial S, period, comma, and the second family name of the author, Gold, comma, first initial, period, middle initial, period, and we use the ampersand to connect the three authors, and the third family name of the author, which is Hammond, open parenthesis, 1998, year published, and the close parenthesis. For the subsequent citation, this example is the Cortez et al. Open parenthesis 1998, comma. And for to 6 or more authors, just like the subsequent citation, we use the first author last name followed by the abbreviation et al. Like example, Mitchell et al. Open parenthesis, year of the published, close parenthesis, and period. And for the books, we start from the last name and followed by the first initial and period, middle initial, period, and we use the ampersand. And for the second author, we use also the last name, comma, first initial, period, and the open and close parentheses, the date, the title of the book, the location where the book is published, and the publisher. Like for example, golden, comma, first initial, period, middle initial period, comma, and we use the ampersand and the second family name of the author, Katz, comma, first initial period, middle initial F, period, and the year of the book published inside the open and close parentheses 2008, period, and the title of the book, The Race Between Education and Technology, period, and the location of the book where it's published, Cambridge, comma, MA, colon, Belknap Press of Harvard University Press, period. And for the website, we also use the author last name, just like the one that I mentioned. We'll use the author last name, first initial, followed by the period, middle initial, period, and open parentheses, we put the year of the published, comma, the month date published, and close parentheses, period, and the title of the web page, period, and the retrieve from URL. Like for example, example of an APA format website. Austerlitz, comma, first initial S, period, open parentheses, 2015, comma, March 3, close parentheses, period, and the title of the web page, how long can a spin-off like Better Call Saul last, and the retrieve URL. And for the newspaper, we just like the format of the website, we use also the author's last name, first initial, middle name, and the open parentheses year, month they published, and the title of the article, and title of the newspaper, page range, and like for the example, Frost, comma, first initial L, period, open parentheses, 2006, comma, September 14, close parentheses, period, and the title of the article, first passenger ride, Monster Jet, period, and the title of the newspaper, the Salt Lake Tribune, comma, and the page number P, period, A2. And if the article is only one page long, we use the P. For any articles longer than one page, we use PP. And this ends my report. Thank you.
So for the continuation, I am going to discuss what research paper is. So research paper involves gathering data, forming hypothesis, testing hypothesis, forming a new theory, confirming an existing one. So I think we are all familiar on what is research all about. So to recap, research is a creative and systematic work undertaken to increase the stock of knowledge. It involves the collection, organization, and analysis of information to increase understanding of a topic or issue. A research project may be an expansion on past work in the field. So for the gathering of data or kanang data collection, it is the process of gathering and measuring information on targeted variables in an established system, which then enables one to answer relevant questions and evaluate outcomes. So in forming the hypothesis, hypothesis is an educated guess that can be tested, and it attempts to account for the data at hand. So how do you form a hypothesis? So if it could be proven wrong, then you have formed a hypothesis. If there is no way to prove it wrong, go back to your data and with another hypothesis. So next slide. So for our research paper structure, we have here our literature review. So where can we find the literature review? It is located on the chapter 2 of our research paper. So a literature review is a survey of scholarly sources on a specific topic. It provides an overview of current knowledge, allowing you to identify relevant theories, methods, and gaps in the existing research. Next, for the methodology, it is found on chapter 3 of the research paper. Research methodology is the specific procedures or techniques used to identify, select, process, and analyze information about a topic. In a research paper, the methodology section allows the reader to critically evaluate a study's overall validity and reliability. And for the findings, this usually refers to the totality of outcomes rather than the conclusions or recommendations drawn from them. Lastly, for the analysis, it means to break a topic or a concept down into each part in order to inspect and understand it and restructure those parts in a way that makes sense to you. So there are two types of research. I think we already know about this. It is the survey questionnaire using the quantitative and the observation, which is the qualitative. So what is quantitative? So quantitative research is a research strategy that focuses on quantifying the collection and analysis of data. So quantitative research, as we all know, it's more on graphs and dealing with numbers. Whereas qualitative, it relies on data obtained by the researcher from first-hand observations, interviews, it discussion, participant observation, recordings made in natural settings, documents and artifacts, and the data are generally non-numerical. Next. So we are now in the documented essay. So what is documented essay? It is a research paper or a piece of writing in which you incorporate information, facts, arguments, opinions taken from the writings of authorities in a particular field. So another definition is that it's not a mere report. So it does not simply reflect facts and theories but interprets them. And aside from that, it turns around reliable sources and well-conducted analysis of the available views on a subject. Another, it is requires a lot of knowledge in the field or expertise. And lastly, documented essays avoids emotions and feelings. It is not important how you perceive the topic or what experience you have, but what matters are the facts according to the selected document. So it's more on providing scientific or factual information. So if what is the purpose of documented essay? So the purpose of documented essay is for you to study the documents provided by your professor to discover and communicate a significant point about history. Next. So how to write a documented essay? So stage 1 is to discuss with your instructor. This means that writing a documented essay requires good communication between you and your instructor. Speak with him or her about the main goal of your documented essay, about the sources you should use, about an interpretation you would like to do, and etc. Be open to the instructor's suggestions and requirements. On the other hand, do not totally should develop a given set of abilities in you. So for the second stage is to define the documented essay topic and gather information. So a well-defined topic for your documented essay is already half of the job. By having a good topic, you will be able to search for information easily. Select the topic which you are familiar with and which also allows for referring to a plenty of evidences and facts. For example, documented essay topics can be related to education, volunteering, family issues, social and economic problems, and so forth. Afterwards, start gathering information, search in libraries and forums, online social networks, etc. So for stage 3 is to plan your work. Planning mainly depends on time at your disposal, of course. Once you have gathered your material, it is easy to plan the draft. Plan the structure and order of the arguments and quotes. One of the methods employed during writing an essay may be to put quotes first and then to interpret them. Another method is to write the essay from the first page onward. So also don't forget to plan an academic style of preference. You will need it in all cases. So for stage 4 is writing the draft. Now you can simply follow the initial plan. So introduce the topic in context, then present different opinions and views on the subject. Your thesis can be stated before or after other theories have been analyzed. So the thesis statement should be 2 to 3 sentences long and cannot be changed during the writing process. So the thesis statement here is very important and crucial. And for the last stage, it is when we revise our documented essay. So as the last stage, you have to look for consistency and logical order. Also, check for grammar and spelling mistakes. You may want to delete some phrases and replace them with others. We recommend you to do it if the phrase in question changes your thesis or is not relevant to your work. Experience is the key to knowledge about how to write a documented essay. By attempting as many times as you can, you will improve your writing skills, and I believe it will also help you in developing logical capacity. So that's all for my report. The next reporter is Ms. Nicole Sasutel.
So, good morning, everyone. And now let's move on to critical thinking. So, what is critical thinking? So, it is the ability to analyze something based on facts to form a judgment. So, critical thinking is our ability to question statements made by others, make connections, make educated judgments, and deliver insightful presentation. So, we use critical thinking for academic purposes in solving a problem, writing an essay or article, or even in making a research paper, giving instructions, and reading a story or receiving an information. So next slide, please. So in 1965, Bloom categorized levels of reasoning skills into 6 parts, now called Bloom's taxonomy. So the lowest level of Bloom's taxonomy is the knowledge. So in this level, questions are asked whether the information was understood clearly. So we questions like why did, how to, and which one should be asked in order to recall and identify information in basically the same form it was presented. So, like for example, in gathering a data in research, we should question the informations we acquired of which one is true and reliable. So the next one is the comprehension. So from the word itself, comprehension, it means understanding. So in this level of Bloom's taxonomy, it is where we recall facts and understand the information. It is the way in which ideas are organized and present and interpreted. So the third one is the application. So in the application, it is where we can apply or use the knowledge we have learned. It is where we use our knowledge to determine a correct response. So for example, in classroom context, we can use application, especially when the teacher asks us to solve a problem or to examine and illustrate something out from his or her discussion. So the fourth one is the analysis. So analysis required us to go beyond knowledge and application. So for example, in the English class, after reading a story, our English teacher will ask us what is the motives of the protagonist in the story. So by that, we will analyze the story and the character and come to a conclusion based from our analysis. So the fifth one is the synthesis. So by synthesizing, it enabled us to think on how we should revise, construct our previous knowledge to create a new one. So for example, if we write an article or essay and we search some information in the internet, and by searching, after finding the information, we should synthesize it or revise and create a new sentences to avoid plagiarism. So the highest level or the last level of Bloom's taxonomy is the evaluation. So in this highest level of taxonomy, it is where we judge the value of an idea or coming up with a solution in a problem. So for example, in making a research paper, after gathering, comprehending, analyzing and interpreting the data, we should evaluate all of this to have a better recommendations and conclusion. So that would be all for my report, and I will give you to Ms. Sinkol to report the next topic. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. So let's tackle about collaboration. So what is collaboration? Collaboration is a working practice whereby individuals work together for a common purpose to achieve business benefit. So collaboration enables individuals to work together to achieve a defined and common business purpose. So it exists in two forms, which are synchronous and asynchronous learning. So synchronous learning, it requires simultaneous attendance at scheduled meetings or lectures, where everyone interacts in real time, as in online meetings through instant messaging or messenger. So when asynchronous learning allows students to access materials, ask questions, and practice their skills at any time that works for them, where the interaction can be time shifted, as when uploading documents or annotations to shared workspaces or making contributions, example to Moodle or in Google Classroom. So, next slide, please. So let's talk about collaboration pros and cons. So the pros of collaborations are diversity of opinion, division of labor, and multiple proofreaders. So diversity of opinion, with more minds at work in the project, there are more ideas and a variety of perspectives. Also, it's highly unlikely that the group will get writer's block as a whole. Division of labor. A group of writers can break a large project down either by tasks, research, drafting, documenting, editing, or sections. It's important, however, that work is equally distributed and individual members are held accountable for their contributions. Multiple proofreaders. As long as there are no disagreements over grammar, it helps to have a number of people edit a writing project. Wala pa. Okay.
Sorry.
Okay. So, cons of collaboration, we have conflict, differences in style, and peer pressure. So, conflict with more minds, however, conflict over either the substance or the process of the writing becomes more likely. Yet, when carefully managed, these conflicts can produce better writing. Groups must also be careful not to let internal politics impede the project's progress. So the differences in style, a collaborative writing project may display an unwanted variation in writing style if not carefully edited. Also, team members might have different working styles. Some might get it done pragmatist, while others might be procrastinating perfectionists. So the last one is peer pressure. So if a team member is very quiet or unassertive, he or she will have a hard time being heard in the group setting. Collaborative writing projects, however, can be a good means by which shy people can learn to better interact with others. So next, please. So collaboration at the conceptual level involves awareness, motivation, self-synchronization, participation, mediation, reciprocity, reflection, and engagement. So awareness, we become part of working entity with a shared purpose. Motivation, we drive to gain consensus in problem solving or development. Self-synchronization, we decide as individuals when things need to happen. Participation, we participate in collaboration and we expect others to participate. Mediation, we negotiate and we collaborate together and find a middle point. Reciprocity, we share and we expect sharing in return through reciprocity. Reflection, we think and we consider alternatives. Engagement, we proactively engage rather than wait and see. So collaborative learning can occur peer-to-peer or in larger groups like just what we are doing right now. So peer learning or peer instruction is a type of collaborative learning that involves students working in pairs or small groups to discuss concepts or find solutions to problems. Similar to the idea that two or three heads are better than one, educational research have found that through peer instruction, students teach each other by addressing misunderstandings and misconceptions, and clarifying misconceptions, where critical thinking involves asking appropriate questions, gathering and creatively sorting through relevant information, relating new information to existing knowledge, examining beliefs, reasoning logically, and drawing reliable and trustworthy conclusions. Collaboration relies on openness and knowledge sharing, but also some level of focus and accountability on the part of the business organizations. Governance should be established and addressing the creation and closing of teamwork spaces with the assignment of responsibility for capturing the emergent results of the collaborative effort. So that's the end of my report. Next, Sulia.
Hi, good morning. So, what is writing process? Writing process, it describes a sequence of physical and mental actions that people take as they produce any kind of text. Mm, okay na. Okay na. Sagsabo. So there are 5 stages of writing process. So the first stage is the pre-writing or think and decide. So in pre-writing, we should make sure that we understand the assignment that assigned to us, decide on a topic to write about, consider who will read your work, brainstorm ideas about the subject. So pre-writing is the first stage during which the writer needs to consider the main factors of the topic, audience, and purpose. A writer should select something he is interested in and knowledgeable about. But he should also anticipate the desired effect he hopes to give in the reader's attention he is looking for. Next, the research. So the research is first list the places where you can find information and make an outline to help organize your research. Research is to bring together different views, evidence, and facts about that topic or books, articles, and interviews and interpret information into your own writing. It's about a relationship between you, other writers, and your teacher or the audiences. So, the third stage is drafting. Drafting refers to actually writing the words of the paper. As part of the writing process, you will write multiple drafts of your paper. Each draft improves upon the previous one. The final draft is simply the last draft to submit. When drafting, you should put information in research to your own words. Write sentences and paragraphs, even if they are not perfect. Read what you have written and judge if this is what you mean. And lastly, write more than you can write until you have said everything you want to say about the topic. So the fourth stage is the revising. Revising, it really means to see again, to look at something from a critical perspective. It is an ongoing process of reading the paper, reconsidering your amendments, reviewing your evidence, and defining your purpose, reorganizing your position in the role. Since the revision should read what we can again, the revision process about parts, do more specification, your unclear words, readers are allowed to be sure it flows smoothly. The last stage is the editing and proofreading. And editing involves looking at each sentence sentence carefully and making sure that it's well designed and serves its purpose. Reading involves checking grammatical and punctuation errors, spelling mistakes, and etc. Proofreading is the final stage of the writing process. So anything making sure all the sentences are clean, correct spelling, capitalization, and punctuations, words that are not used correctly, and lastly, make sure you are creating. Like writing process, it is important for a writer to work through each of the steps in order to ensure that he or she has produced a polished and complete piece. The
Okay, so thank you so much. So now we will now proceed to our next topic, which is the concept of social and cultural significance in communication. Once again, my name is Yunay Daniel Rada, and I am going to report about the culture and communication. So we will talk about the significance of social and cultural context in communication. Because as we all know, culture and communication correlates. Diba? So without culture, there will be no communication. And without communication, there will be no culture. So that is the importance of culture in communication. Like for example, we will do an academic research about, like for example, poverty or malnutrition. So in order for you to come up a good and reliable research paper or academic paper, you really need to study the social and cultural context of that group or population. So that in that way, you would be able to, you would be able to come up a reliable research paper. Okay, so first, we're going to talk about communication. As we all know, communication in its simplest form is about sending and receiving information, or the transmission of information and meaning from one party to another. And we also communicate in various ways, like speaking, writing, visual images, and body language, like our facial expressions and gestures. So, what is culture? So, ang sabi ng culture and what is the significance of culture in communication and writing academic paper? So, the term culture refers to the complex collection of knowledge, folklore, language, rules, rituals, habits, lifestyles, attitudes, beliefs, and customs and give a common identity to a particular group of people at a specific point in time. So you find the word there, folklore. What do you mean by that? Like for example, ano ang mga mythology, like the Philippine mythology, like the story of Maria Makiling. So it is part of our culture. And then we also have the language. Language, you know that here in the Philippines, we speak, or we have more than 111 dialects. And depending on the region, like for example, if you go to Panay Island, if you go to Iloilo, so the people living in Iloilo or the Ilonggos speak different dialects. They speak Ilonggo or Hiligaynon. So go to Samar, dahil yung dialect ng ilang use, like the Waray. And here in Cebu, we use Bisaya or Cebuano language or dialect. And even near sa Cebu, if you go to provinces, mas sila yung own way of enunciating words. Diba? Like for example, if you go to Dalaget, so sa lang yung pag-enunciate sa word or sa Bisaya sila, but they have their own way enunciating or speaking certain words which make them distinct from the other region or areas here in Cebu. So that's part of our language. So we also have the rules, meaning to say our policies, our government, our constitution. So it is unique. Our constitution is unique from the other constitution. Our policies, even though some of our rules and policies are patterned from the American policies in Spain. So, but we have our own unique policy, and it's part of our culture. Then we also have here the rituals. For example, kanang atong mga festivities like kanang mga Sinulog Festival, Binagyang Festival. So it's part of our cultures. Okay, then we also have habits, then lifestyles, attitudes. So in attitudes, guys, I just want to share this to you. I actually worked in a BPO company before, and most of my clients are Americans. And when they called in to seek help to solve their problems or concerns, they don't like beating around the bush. So dili na sila gusto nga magpaliko-liko ka. They want you to speak directly in a straightforward manner because they value time so much. So for them, time is money. That's why if you can help them solve the problem or not, you need to tell them directly. Dili na sila ganahan nga magpaliko-liko pa ka. Here, diri sa ato ang atong attitude is ganahan ta nga murag iliko-liko pa, so dili kayo ta straightforward, and it is part of our culture. So we also have beliefs and customs, and this culture, the things that I mentioned earlier, it gives identity to us. Okay, nga malahi ta sa uban nga nationality, lahi ang mga Bisaya sa mga Tagalog, lahi ang mga Ilonggo sa mga compare nimo sa taga Bohol, di ba? So it gives us identity, unique identity to a particular group of people in a specific point in time. So communication and culture have a great influence on each other. Why? Because with the changing times, the socio-economic individuals are also changing. What do you mean by socio-economic conditions? It means to say your income, your marital status, your religion, your age. So these things are the aspects of socio-economic conditions. So the effect of these changes is reflected in the communication behavior of the people. Past experiences, perception, and cultural background greatly affect the way people talk and behave. It's true because our culture nowadays will not be the same sa ato ang culture 5 days or 10 years from now. So there's a constant change. So dili ta kaingon nga ang karon sa isin gihapon inig ka ugma or next year or next 5 or 10 years. So it will change. The behavior of the people will change, and so as the communication patterns will also change. Then generally people react on how we speak rather than what we say. It's true. So can you please go to, I'm sorry, Miss Juvel. Stop.
Yes, sir. Murag na stop na recording, sir. Continue. Sir, balik.